بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our discussion about قاعدة التجاوز وقاعدة الفراق. As you remember, we said some ulama believe that these two rules are indeed one rule, and then even these ulama have different opinions. I already explained for you the idea of Sheikh Ansari rahmatullah alayh. Sheikh Ansari says the core of Qa'idiyya Faraq and Qa'idiyya Tajawuz is that we assume that that part of ibadah in a valid way has existed. His expression is التعبد بأصل وجود الشيء. We assume as act of obedience. It means it's not proved, but we have reason religiously to believe that that existed. That thing that Shari has wanted from us has existed. So if you have doubt and you have passed that action, either enter the next action or it's after salat you have doubted, so you assume that it is still there. This is the idea of Sheikh Ansari. Mirza Naini rahmatullah alayh, he also believes that we have only one rule, and he believes that Qa'idiyya Faraq and Qa'idiyya Tajawuz are not two separate rules, but he gives preference to Qa'idatul Faraq. So he says Qa'idatul Tajawuz is a kind of branch of Qa'idiyya Faraq. What is the core? The core is to assume something which you have completed, something you have finished, has been done in a correct way. Al-hukm bi-sihhat al-amal ba'da al-faragh min. And then he says, but the Shari legislator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has told us that when you are still in the middle of the action and you have finished part of the action, part of the wajib, it is like completing the action. So the first thing is after finishing completely salat, for example. But in the middle also, after finishing one part and starting another part, if you doubt, it's like faragh. So tajawuz for him is going back to faragh. Okay? With this kind of justification that it is like finishing. You may say, because Sheikh Ansari has not given argument, but Sheikh Mirza Naini has given an argument for it. He says in Muwaththaqat ibn Abi Ya'fur Abi Abdullah alayhi salam, it says إذا شككت في شيء من الوضوء وقد دخلت في غيره Okay? فَلَيْسَ شَكُّكَ بِالشَّيْءِ إِنَّمَا الشَّكُّ إِذَا كُنْتَ فِي شَيْءٍ لَمْ تَجُزْهُ. So he says, إِذَا كُنْتَ فِي شَيْءٍ لَمْ تَجُزْهُ seems to suggest that when you have faragh, when you have completed, you don't need to worry about what you have finished. The third opinion is Ayatollah Khui's opinion, and some people like him, and they say quite opposite to Mirza Naini. They say there is one rule, but that is Qa'idatul Tajawuz. Mirza Naini said Qa'idah Tajawuz is reduced to Qa'idah Faraq. But Ayatollah Khui says Qa'idah Faraq is reduced to Qa'idah Tajawuz. So Shari tells us that when you have doubt about something and you have passed, you don't worry, you don't pay attention to your doubt. If you have doubt after finishing Salat, for example, Ayatollah Khui says it's the same. It's like doubting one part, and already we have said if you doubt one part and you have passed, you don't worry about it. So these are different opinions. Then Sheikh Irwani says, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sheikh Irwani says, we have to distinguish between two things. And this is a very important terminology we have in Hawza studies. We had it before also in Aqaid, in some places, in Usul. The difference between Alam al-Thubut, Alam al-Ithbat. So Alam al-Thubut means in the world of realities. Alam al-Ithbat means in the world of reasoning, arguments. So Sheikh Irwani says we have two types of discussion. Whether it is in reality, Qa'idah Tajawuz and Qa'idah Faraq are the same. They are one rule legislated by Shari'. The second thing is Alam Ithbat. Is the text, for example, which indicates Qa'idah Tajawuz is the same as the text which indicates Qa'idah Faraq. So in the course of arguing, reasoning, using text, are they the same or not? The difference between the three opinions we had is about thubut. That was about reality. Mirza Naini had one view, Sayyid Khui had another view, Sheikh Ansari had a third view. All of them is about reality, whether they are in reality the same or not, and if they are the same, is it Qa'idah Tajawuz or is it Qa'idah Faraq, or as Sheikh Ansari said, something else. But what about Ithbat? So we have to look at the hadith that we have. Again here, Mirza Naini and Sayyid Khui have different opinions. Mirza Naini says, إن الروايات الباب آبية أن حملها على جعل قاعدتين مستقلتين. He says the hadith that we have in this section of usul and fiqh, in our collections, we have hadith about Qa'idah Tajawuz and Qa'idah Faraq. When you look at them, they Abiya. Abiya comes from Iba. Means they resist, they avoid in the interpretation which says they are two independent rules. Abiyatun.
So there are two.
No. Abiyatun and hamlaha ala ja'ala qa'idatayn mustaqillatayn. Means they don't accept to be interpreted as two independent rules.
What does abiyatun mean?
Abiya means refuses. Abba, we have Imam Hussain said, hayhat minna dhilla ya'ba Allahu dhalika lana wa rasuluhu wa hujurun tabat wa tahurat. Ya'ba Allah is from the same. Aba, ya'ba, iba'an. Means you refuse, you don't want something. So he says, Inna ruju'a ilayha. If you refer to the hadith, the faqih becomes certain that only one thing is legislated, whether it be about doubting parts or doubting the whole action after finishing it. So Sayyid Khu'i says, no. When we read the hadith, they seem to be two independent rules. And they have different bases.
He says one.
Yes.
Al-Qawa'id says two.
Two. Qa'idiyya faraq is for doubting the validity of something after making sure that you have done it. You have said salat, now you don't know whether your salat was okay or not. After salat, you doubt validity of it. But Qa'idiyya Tajawuz is either doubting validity or only doubting validity. You are sure about that you have done it. So you know that you have done, for example, qira'ah, but you are not sure it was correct or not. Or you are not sure you have done qira'ah. That is also possible. You are in ruku and say, did I say my surah or I didn't say surah? Did I say hamd or not? So Qa'idiyya Tajawuz is in the middle and you doubt whether you did it and was not correct or was correct, or you didn't do it. Qa'idatul Faraq. The basis for Qa'idiyya Faraq. Ash-shakku fi sihhat al-shay ma ihraz wujudihi. After salat, you say, I did salat. Was it correct or not? But Qa'idiyya Tajawuz, ash-shak fi wujud al-shay ba'da tajawuz an mahallihi. So, these are two different rules, and according to Ayatollah Khu'i, in reality, of course, he says they are the same, but the hadith indicate them as two independent things. But the author, Sheikh Irwani, says he prefers the idea of Sheikh A'zam Ansari, and it seems that what he said was correct. We have one idea, and that is to assume what has been done is correct, and it doesn't make difference whether it is complete and whole or it is just part of it. But this is very technical discussion. I think maybe for you it's not necessary to take a position here. The next issue is, what about other acts of worship other than salat and wuzu? Either it's exclusive to salat and wuzu or it is more than that. So there is a discussion here. عموم القاعدتين لغير الصلاة والوضوء. For example, in Hajj, if in the second round, second shot of tawaf, you make doubt about the first one, or if after the whole tawaf you make doubt, can we use these two rules for other than salat and wudu? He says Qa'idatul Faraq seem to be general. Why? Because if you look at the hadith, Muhammad ibn Muslim and Abi Ja'far alayhi salam, Imam Baqir, he says, Imam Baqir said, كل ما شككت فيه مما قد مضى فامضه كما هو. You don't see any restriction that كلما شككت فيه من الصلاة or من الوضوء. It's a general thing. Whenever you doubt about something which has passed, فامضه, carry on. Let it go. So this is and includes Hajj, for example.
Can you compare it with, there's another thing that you should treat your tawaf like salah. I think there's another ruling like that. In the Quran it mentions. And
No, that is at-tawafu salatu. Yeah, that is saying that tawaf is the same as salat. So rulings of salat apply to tawaf.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what this is all about at the moment?
No.
What we're discussing is different.
It's different.
I see.
That is a particular thing about tawaf, not about all Hajj. It's only about tawaf. For example, tawaf also needs tahara like salat, for example. But not about wuquf in Arafat, not about ram, only about tawaf. But we are here saying that everything in Hajj, when you doubt and you go to the next step and you doubt, you don't pay attention. You are welcome. We have also Muwaththaqatu Bukayr ibn A'yan. Imam alayhi salam says, Huwa hina yatawadda'u adhkaru minhu hina yashuk. You don't see any mention of limitation. If you say, but Imam is saying, hina yatawadda, we say yes, but look at the rule. Rule is about when you do something, you are more alert and more, careful, more awake, more, alert, more conscious. You don't think this is only true about wuzu. This can be about any action that when you were doing in the middle of it, you should be more aware. Now after finishing your doubt, it's natural because you forget. So you see, this seems to be general. إن النكتة المذكورة للزوم الحكم بالصحة بعد الفراغ. This point that we should assume that it is correct after finishing تعم مثل الحج. It includes things like Hajj as well. We have a rule, we say العبرة بعموم الوارد ولا بخصوص المورد. Do you remember this rule? For the tafsir, for usul, many times we use this rule. العبرة بعموم الوارد ولا بخصوص المورد. What is the criteria is to see whether the rule which is mentioned, it is general or not. Don't bother about the case in which that rule is given. The mawrid can be a specific, but the rule is general. Umum al-warid means generality of what has come, not the particularity of the case. It's a very important rule. So, there should be no doubt that it includes ibadat other than wuzu and salat. Then he says, maybe it can even include mu'amalat. Because look at what we have in Muwaththaqiyya Muhammad ibn Muslim. كلما شككت فيه مما قد مضى فامضي. Is there any mention of it has to be salat or wuzu or hajj or something which is ibadah? No. It can be anything. It can be ibadat, it can be mu'amala, it can be bay', it can be ijara, it can be mudaraba, it can be muzara'a. All these types of ibadat and mu'amalat.
Because of the kullu ma shakakta, because it is
Yes. So, with respect to Qa'idah al-Faraq, there is no problem. That Qa'idah al-Faraq is not exclusive to Salat and Wuzu. Qa'idatul Faraq is also for any ibadah or mu'amalat. Yes.
This applies only on doubt, not because if you miss the arkan of Fajr or any other ibadah, then you have to follow the condition. Otherwise, it's only when it is a doubt. Like if you are in Hajj and you are doing a,
If you are sure that you have not done it,
then you have to pay kufara for it.
then yes, then we have to see whether we have something like Qa'idi la tu'ad or we don't have. We have to see that was a rock or that was something that if you miss it, it's okay. Okay. So, this is about Qa'idah al-Faraq, and we said Qa'idatul Faraq is not exclusive to Salat and Wuzu. It includes other ibadat, plus it includes mu'amalat. What about Qa'idah al-Tajawuz? He says, if we believe that Qa'idah al-Faraq and Tajawuz are the same, again, even with Qa'idah al-Tajawuz, we can say that it's not exclusive to Salat and Wuzu. It is for Hajj, it is for Mu'amalat. If we say they are the same. Also, he says, although there is a certain instance, certain extent, qadr mutayaqan, but there is umum. Look at, for example, Sahih Zurare about Qa'idah Tajawuz. يا زرارة إذا خرجت من شيء ثم دخلت في غيره فشكك ليس بشيء. Yes, Salat and Wuzu are certainly obvious things that come to our mind. But you do see anything that can be a proof that it's only Salat and Wuzu? إذا خرجت من شيء ثم دخلت في غيره فشكك ليس بشيء. It can easily be used for Hajj. It can be used for Mu'amalat.
It seems as if you can use it for anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
It seems it's general. Or for example, in Mubassaqi Ibn Muslim, كلما شككت فيه مما قد مضى فامضه كما هو. It seems it includes Hajj, it includes Mu'amalat. So, this is not a big issue. One point that I mentioned last session is that with respect to wudu, we have a specific reason to exclude wudu from Qa'idatul Tajawuz. Because we have a specific hadith which says, in wuzu, if you doubt about a part, you go back and you do it. You make sure that you do it. Okay? It has additional reason. استثناء الوضوء من قاعدة التجاوز. Wuzu is excluded from قاعدة التجاوز. What is the reason? We have Sahih of Zurare from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. Look at the Sahih Zurare. إذا كنت قاعدا على وضوئك فلم تدر أغسلت ذراعيك أم لا فأعد عليهما وعلى جميع ما شككت فيه إنك لم تغسله أو تمسحه مما سمى الله ما دمت في حال الوضوء. If you are making wuzu and you don't know whether you have washed your hands or not, you should repeat. And also with everything that you have doubted, whether you have washed it or not, or whether you have done mass, wipe it or not, which is mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as parts of wuzu. So, if you stand up, وَفَرَغْتَ مِنْ, you know, the first was saying, إِذَا كُنْتَ قَاعِدًا عَلَى وُضُوءٍ. It means you are sitting next to the river, next to the, normally in the past they were sitting. You are sitting and making wuzu and you doubt. But إِذَا قُمْتَ مِنَ الْوُضُوء means
You finish.
you have finished, you have started going somewhere, for example, going to masjid or whatever. وَفَرَغْتَ مِنْ وَقَدْ سِرْتَ إِلَى حَالٍ أُخْرى. You have entered into a new condition. في الصلاة أو في غيرها فشككت في بعض ما سمى الله مما أوجب الله عليك فيه وضوءه لا شيء عليك. If after you finish and complete it and you have gone into a new condition, for example, you are in prayer or doing something else, and then you doubt about some of the things that Allah says in the Quran is wajib, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ. If these things which are necessary, you doubt. شَكَّكْتَ فِي بَعْضِ مَا سَمَّى اللَّهُ مِمَّا أَوْجَبَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ فِيهِ وُضُوءٍ لَا شَيْءَ عَلَيْكَ. After finishing and you stood up, you doubted, no problem.
No problem.
Yes.
But they say
That is clear, that's obvious. It's like anything else.
Yeah, but they say you
The
can't-
part which is exception is the first part, which says if you are still sitting and you make doubt about a previous part, you go back and you do it.
Can I ask a question, please? But they say you can't approach Salah without wuzu.
You can't?
What about the wuzu? You can't approach Salah without wuzu.
You can approach what?
You can't approach Salah without
Salah,
wuzu.
salah, without
Or you
wuzu.
finish your, or
Yeah.
in the middle of your namaz, and you're worried about wuzu. You
Yeah.
can't approach
So if you are in salat and you doubt
about the wuzu.
whether your wuzu was correct or not,
Uh-huh.
you ignore it. If in the middle of salat you doubt whether you have wuzu or not, then you cannot continue.
You can't continue in the middle of Salah.
Yes.
You have to go back and do the wuzu and pray again.
Yes.
Ashant.
If it's a middle.
Clarify that.
But if you know that you have done wuzu,
Yes.
but you think maybe my wuzu was not correct, you ignore the doubt and assume that your wuzu was correct. So the point which we wanted to mention here is qa'idatul tajawuz is not applied to wuzu. Qa'idatul faraq, yes.
al-Faraq is.
Yes,
but
it's
Tajawuz
applied.
not, yeah.
Because after finishing salat and starting, for example, after finishing wuzu, started something else, you ignore doubt. What about qa'idah faraq? Is wuzu again exception? No. If after finishing wuzu you doubt, no problem. Next question. What about ghusl and tayammum? Some ulama have said with respect to ghusl and tayammum also we cannot apply qa'idatul tajawuz. We can only apply qa'idatul faraq. And they try to argue. For example, some have said what we have in tayammum and in ghusl are some actions which are not wajib by themselves. Those actions produce tahara. And that tahara is something simple. So there is no part after another part. But these are not very strong arguments, because the same can be said about salat, for example, or other things, you know, or about wuzu. And so it seems that with respect to wuzu, we have reason to exclude it. With respect to tayammum and ghusl, we don't have reason to exclude it. So it falls under the general umbrella of Qa'idiyya Tajawuz. Why we should exclude tayammum and ghusl? We don't have any reason, a specific reason for them. Yes?
Sheikh, no, I mean, when you say we have reason to do it in wudu, it is only this hadith from right?
Yes.
But it's not a reason, it's just a command. We don't understand the reason why.
No. Means
Why isn't this reason after? Why is this
no,
command?
means this is a reason to understand, not what is the
Logical.
cause or yes, philosophical reason. Means reason for understanding.
So when we talk about ablution, like in English, we say wudu, ablution, tayammum is also.
Yeah. So with respect to wuzu, Qa'idiyya Tajawuz is not applied. With respect to ghusl and tayammum, there seems to be no reason why it should not be subject to Qa'idiyya Tajawuz. Next question. Is it necessary that we enter ghayr? Means another action, or it is enough to finish the action that you have doubt about it? For example, after finishing qira'ah you doubt, or it must be after finishing qira'ah and going to ruku' and you doubt. Or with respect to qa'idatul faraq, you finish your salat and still you are on your sajjada, you have not done anything else, but you have finished salat. Can we say qa'idah faraq is applicable, or you have to start something else, like walking or doing another salat? So Sheikh Irwani says, with respect to Qa'idiyya Tajawuz, definitely you have to enter another part, because it says إذا خرجت من شيء ثم دخلت في غيره. So if you have doubt about qira'ah and you have entered ruku or entered sajda, you ignore. But you have doubt about qira'ah just at the end of qira'ah. It seems that it's not possible to do Qa'idiyya Tajawuz. With respect to Qa'idiyya Tajawuz, so you must enter another part. With respect to Qa'idiyya Faraq, although some people wanted to say here also you should start doing something else, but we say no. Because mudhi, you say, something has finished, something has passed, has expired, doesn't need to enter a new thing. When you say your salam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, we can say now it's faraq. Even if you have not moved, you have not stood up, you have not talked, we can say it is after finishing salat.
Sorry, Sheikh.
Yes.
If someone in the namaz is reciting al-Fatiha, Surah al-Fatiha, and during al-Fatiha he doubts maybe the previous part of al-Fatiha.
We come to that.
Again.
So we said ghayr for tajawuz is needed, but for faragh is not needed. Now we come to your question. What is ghayr? When ghayr is needed in Qa'idiyya Tajawuz, for example. What is ghayr? For example, الدخول في جزء الجزء. If someone doubts about hamd and he is in middle of surah, can we say he has passed and gone to the next, or he has to finish surah? It seems he has gone.
It's good.
Because he is in the next, doesn't need to finish the next part. Like for example, when you are in ruku and you doubt about qira'ah, you don't need to have finished your ruku. Okay, so juz'ul juz'i izan ghayrun. As soon as you start the next part, even if it is part of the next part, you can say you have passed that juz which you are doubting. Is it clear?
Thank you. It's very clear. Thank you.
What about entering next ayah of the same surah? Yeah? So for example, you say إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, then you doubt about مَالِكَ يَوْمِ الدِّينِ. Can we say
There's the Tajawuz.
this is different from the previous one, because previous one was part of the next juz, but this is in the same surah but the next ayah. And he says it seems yes, here also you have tajawaz, because it says shay, the shakakta fi shay'in dakhalta fi ghayri, so we can say.
So what you repeat it or
So you don't need to repeat.
you don't need to repeat that?
No. Yes.
Just go on.
So if you are in ayah and you doubt previous ayah, now it goes further. What about you are in a word, in a kalima, and doubt the previous kalima? He says, no, this seems to be not enough. Because when we say you finished shay and entered another thing, it's munsarif, means our mind doesn't think about one word only. It's too little. At least you are not sure that it is enough. Okay? So you have to
Do it again.
go back and make sure that you have done it properly.
Shay, how are we understanding it? Thought or
No, shay means part of something, part of salat.
yes.
So, for example, we said, كُلَّمَا دَخَلْتَ فِي شَيْءٍ وَخَرَجْتَ. So, it should be something considerable.
Considerable.
Yeah. If it is just one word, it's too little. Yeah? So, if it is whole surah, it's good. If it is one ayah with difficulty, we may accept. Say, okay, you have finished one ayah, you have gone to the next ayah. Here even it's difficult, but we may accept. But if it is just one word, we cannot say, I have passed it. You are still in the process of it.
But you've passed the word.
Yeah, you have passed the word, but you cannot say this is a part of salat which you have passed. It's too little. Otherwise, any word, then you can say letter. I doubt the first character, and now I am in the third character. No, Orf doesn't consider this as tajawuz. You have passed it.
So it goes back to Urf.
Yes.
Interesting.
So, in Sahih Zurara, we say, كُلَّمَا دَخَلْتَ فِي شَيْءٍ وَخَرَجْتَ. Shay is not known to be used for one word. And also in Muwassaqi, Muhammad ibn Muslim says, كُلَّمَا مَضَى وَشَكَّكْتَ. For one word, we don't say مَضَى. It's too little. Another question. What about entering a mustahab part? For example, if in ruku you doubt surah, no problem. We say you have entered next juz because ruku is wajib. If in qunut, which is mustahab, you doubt surah, what happens? Is it clear, the question?
Yes.
When we say, when you enter next juz, next part, that part has to be wajib, or it can be also mustahab. Sahibu urwat al-wusqa. Sahibu urwat al-wusqa. He says, pardon? Said the Yazdi. He says you don't pay attention. Said Qadim Yazdi. He says you don't pay attention, even if it is mustahab part. Because the juz, madha, the previous one has gone, and you have entered a new. But Sayyid Khui says no. If it is juz mustahab, it's not enough. Okay? He says if it is mustahab, it's not enough. But we say when something is considered by Shari as a juz, it's not that we have produced it, or we started saying some zikr. No, if it is something which is part of salat, whether mustahab or wajib, it's considered as a ghair, as a juz. And when you enter and then you doubt about the previous juz, it is possible to apply qa'idah tajawuz.
So when you apply qa'idah tajawuz, you need to repeat it or leave it?
Pardon?
When you apply qa'idah tajawuz, you
ignore it.
Ignore it.
Except wuzu.
Except wuzu.
Question, next question. What about muqaddamatul juz? For example, when you are standing and saying surah and you want to go to ruku, before reaching ruku, you gradually are bending. That bending, or when you want to go to sajda, you are going to sit. If in that condition you doubt, we say it seems that this is not enough, because it's not a part. It's prerequisite for starting another part. These parts are important. Is it clear? You cannot say dakhalta fil ghayr. What is ghayr here? This is not a juz. This is not a part of salat. Then some people say, but we have a hadith which seem to contradict. Please listen to these two hadiths. One hadith confirms what we said, what one hadith seems to contradict, but we have a justification. For example, in Sahih Ismail ibn Jabir from Imam Baqir alayhi salam, we have in shakka fi ruku' ba'da ma sajada falyamdhi. This confirms what we said. If he doubts in ruku' after sajda, not when he is going to, bend and go to sajda. This confirms. But we have another one that someone may say, no, this contradicts what you said. Muwassaqat Abdurrahman ibn Abi Abdullah, he says, Abdurrahman says, قلت لأبي عبد الله رجل أهوى إلى السجود. Ahwa with ha means bending to go to sujood. Falam yadre araka'a am lam yarka'. He doesn't know whether he has done ruku or not. According to this hadith, Imam Baqir said qad raka'a, means he has done ruku, don't worry. So some people say this contradicts what you said, because the question was ahwa ila sujud, not sajada. He has gone down for sajda. Also, is it clear? So the answer is ahwa is different from yuhwi. If it was saying that he is going down, then we could say still he is doing muqaddamatu sajda. But ahwa means he has gone down for sajda. Maybe still he is in the beginning of sajda. It's not he finished sajda, but he is still there. So he says, أن التعبير بأهوى يدل على تحقق. This that going down, this has happened. So this is also one point. It seems that we don't have anything here important, except then we go to number 8. احتمال الالتفات. Is this needed that
You
you...
don't have number 8 in this book.
Yes,
7.
yes, it's extra. Maybe some of these things also were not there. Yeah.
The hadith you mentioned.
Yes. So another question. احتمال الالتفات. I told you yesterday. Monday. For example, I have a ring. If I want to make wuzu, I should either remove it or move it so that water goes inside and washes my finger. After wuzu, I doubt whether water reached my finger or not. Some ulama have said, in all circumstances, it is qa'idatul faraq. You have doubted after wuzu, no problem. Some ulama said, no. There is a condition. You should think that maybe you were alert. Maybe you had attention to do this. Now you don't remember whether you removed your ring or not, but at least there must be possibility. You say, yes, maybe, because I always do this, so maybe today also I did this. There is ihtimalul iltifat. There is a likelihood that you had attention. But if you are sure that you had no attention and then you say, maybe by chance water has gone, then some ulama say this is not accepted. So there must be ihtimalul iltifat. Is it clear? Pardon? Ihtimalul iltifat. Iltifat means attention. Ihtimal means likelihood, probability. Then we have few examples. I mentioned just some of them. There are many examples here. For example, إذا شك المكلف أثناء الصلاة أو بعدها أنه توضأ أو لا فما هو حكمه? If in the middle of salat or after salat you make doubt that you have made wuzu, what do you do? We say, pardon? No, which faraq?
You're already in the middle of salah.
Okay.
So you doubt whether you did, you have to repeat.
Ah. If it is after salat you doubt, then you assume your salat was correct. For the next salat you make wuzu.
What about tajawuz then? Tajawuz?
Tajawuz is in the middle, but it is not about an action of salat. It's a prerequisite of salat. So if in the middle of salat you doubt whether you made wuzu or not, you have to do it again.
Repeat the whole thing.
You have to go and make wuzu and finish. Of course, you can complete your salat, but then you make wuzu and do a salat again. But if after salat you make doubt, that salat is okay. For the next salat, you have to make wuzu. Don't say, if that salat is okay, so the next also should be okay. These rules have no implication. You remember we said in istisab, it's not asl musbit. So when we say the previous one is okay, means we don't have any reason to doubt it about it, but this doesn't guarantee that you have wuzu. Just practically, we assume that you had the wuzu. Is it clear? Another question. We want to see whether you understood or not. إذا علم المكلف بأنه قد توضأ. You know that you have made wuzu. ولكنه شك أثناء الصلاة أو بعدها في أنه هل ترك جزءا من الوضوء أو لا. In the middle of salat, you doubt whether your wuzu was okay, or after salat you make doubt. What should you do? You ignore it. Yes, you ignore it because you know you have made wuzu. You doubt after entering salat or finishing salat. So definitely it's qa'ideh faraq and you ignore it. Al-Hajj أثناء السعي شك أنه طاف بالكعبة المشرفة 7 أو 6 فماذا يفعل. There is a person who is performing Hajj. When he is doing sa'i between Safa and Marwa, he doubts whether he did 6 round or 7. He ignores because we said qa'idatul Faraq is not only for wuzu and salat. It includes other ibadat and even mu'amalat. إذا أنهى الطائف توافه. The one who is doing tawaf finishes tawaf. وقبل أن يشرع في صلاة التواف شك هل توضأ قبل الطواف أو لا. ما هو حكمه بهذا الطواف. He makes tawaf. Now he has to go and do 2 rakah salat tawaf. But before doing that, he doubts whether he made wuzu before tawaf or not. So with respect to tawaf, it seems okay. But with respect to salat, he has to make wuzu. Okay? إذا أنهى المصلي صلاة المغرب وشك بعدها أنها صلاها 2 أو 4. Musalli, after finishing Salat al-Maghrib, doubts whether he made it 2 or 4. What should he do? No, this is not faraq because it's either 2 or 4. In both cases, it's wrong.
So he has to do it.
He has to do it.
It's a trick question.
Yes, he has to do it because it says either it was 2 rakah or 4 rakah. So qadi faraq is not applicable here. Yes?
It's a trick question.
Yes. Okay, the last one. إذا علم المكلف بعد إنهاء وضوئه. After finishing wuzu, you realize إما ببطلانه أو بطلان وضوء أحد أصدقائه. After making wuzu, he realizes either his wuzu was void or the wuzu of someone else. فما هو الحكم.
He's finished it. Then if he's finished it,
Mm.
then he doesn't have to do it again. He's basically considering the validity of his wudu, right?
Yeah, so here it's a question of ilm ijmali. But because that person's wuzu has nothing to do with me, so it seems that I can assume my wuzu is okay. Yes? It has nothing to do with me. Is it clear? But for example, if I know that either my wuzu or wuzu of imam was void, then I cannot follow him.
That is not even a question.
Pardon?
That can't be a valid question.
Yeah.
Imam wudu is invalid. Possible. We're not talking about Pesh Imam, we're talking about Imam. As in, make up to Allah. No. We can't do the rules of that.
There are 20 examples. I think you can discuss them in mubahasa. It's good for exercise. So, alhamdulillah, we finished Qa'idat al-Tajawuz and Faraq, and as we said, Qa'idat al-Tajawuz is when you doubt in the middle of action about a previous part and you have already gone into the next part or part after that. It can be doubt about doing it or about doing it correctly. I am in ruku, I say my recitation was correct or not, or did I recite at all? This is Qa'idah Tajawuz. For wuzu we have exception, but other things we can use that. Qa'idah Faraq is after finishing, and even you don't need to start another thing. When you finish an action and you start doubting about validity of that action because of, for example, one part. Not that you doubt whether you said salat or not. It's not Qa'idah Faraq. You know you have said salat, but you say, was it correct or not? Qa'idah Faraq says, if you have finished it and then you doubt, you ignore your doubt. Okay, alhamdulillah, we finished. Inshallah, we continue with another rule next session, which is asalatu sihha. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Which is the maximum season?
Pardon?
Is it the maximum season?
Sihha.
Validity.
Validity. Must be.
No class now?
No, this